Hi, everybody. I'm Alicia. I am the founder and the executive director of Yoda World. And I wanted to talk today um, about racism. And I wanted to talk about racism in relation to the things that we do as activists and how structures like racism can really challenge us in the things that we do. Obviously, I'm African American, and I am no stranger to racism. And the the inspiration behind this particular video that I'm doing right now just came from not very long ago. I was facilitating a session for POP. We have our People of Peace program that's being done on Vocal. You can check out our Vocal channel. And even though we've been having lots of technology challenges, um, I still was able to go through, albeit with a bunch of interruptions. I was able to go through the session that we had talking about peace and art and relating art to the peace keys. So I won't get into what the actual discussion was about because obviously you can look at it on Vocal. And because we've been having so many technology issues, we're also posting it on the POP portal. So that's my little plug for the POP program. And hope that you will join us in getting involved in that. But while I was doing one of the portions of the session before actually getting kicked off, there was someone who entered the chat area. So there is, just to give you a little bit of background, you can join the event live and you can enter the space that we have where there's a chat area. You can chat with other people who happen to be in the event as well. And you can also submit a question or a comment. It's just a button that says submit a question, and you can do it by video or you could do it by text. And there was a person in the chat area. There were actually two people in the chat area. One was just saying hello and just listening in and willing to participate in the discussion. And the other person, I will keep this person nameless because I remember the name very clearly, that this other person decided that she wanted to spam our chat space. And so the first thing that caught my eye, obviously, was the multiple messages of the same thing. And then I realized as I'm talking, this is all happening as I'm doing my actual facilitation, giving information, etc., that this particular person was actually saying things to me as racial slurs. And that's significant. It's significant in a number of ways. Obviously, because we want to be respectful no matter where we are to the people that we are around, and particularly because this is a People of Peace um, program that I was facilitating at the time. And I just saw that it was really interesting how someone could come in and disregard all of what I'm talking about peace and art, specifically music, and zone in on the color of my skin and the nature of my curly hair, which I love, by the way. Um, I thought that that was interesting. I did not address that person during the facilitation. I thought it was best to just ignore it and continue on with the conversation at hand because that was really my focus. And as I was trying to figure out how to get this person kicked out from the area because it could really mess up the participation for the other person that was there, and for those who might be joining who might sense some kind of weirdness going on, we actually got kicked off. And so that was a bit of a relief because I didn't have to try to figure out how to kick that person out. So I just restart the event and go over things again. But what I want to pinpoint here is that as an activist, we're all going to face challenges, particularly because as activists, we are trying to fight against things that are status quo. And one of the things that I don't hear talked about a lot, and why I wanted to talk about it now as it's fresh in my memory and you have a fresh live reaction, nothing is scripted, is racism. And we can talk about conventions about racism and discrimination. We can talk about laws set up to protect people. But at the end of the day, the institution of racism in its full effect is still very much alive. And I wanted to be able to, have a conversation about racism and really get your thoughts about how you're handling racism as activists. What are some of the things that you're able to do? In my instance, I just ignored it. I continued on with my conversation because I recognized that this person wanted to disrupt my being from giving this energy that I was bringing to the conversation about peace and about art. And the People of Peace program is wide reaching. People watch it from different parts of the world. And that energy that each of the different facilitators bring, including myself, um, can be felt, right? And so if that is about knocking me off my center, the best thing that I felt that I could do at that time was to stay steady, and continue on the path, which is something that's significant for activists because obviously we're going to be hit with many challenges that are designed to wear us out, to keep us down, to have us doubt the very thing that we believe in, that we are working towards. And we have to move in solidarity with one another, and be strengthened by one another. And it's hard to do that if you have this institution, this burden of racism that even seeps into activist circles. That's a whole other topic in and of itself, right? We can talk about how ways of the status quo seeps into activist circles. I'm a woman, and sometimes there are very clear um, patriarchal influences that happen, and sometimes you're told, I've certainly had that experience in no uncertain terms, you do this, or you don't do this and this because you are a woman. um, and in those times you have to, you have to stand up for yourself, but you also have to come at the situation with energy, that you want to be replicated in the world that you want to see, rather than to fall into the downward spiral that they're trying to bring you into for you to wind up being like them. So my message, aside from trying to spark this conversation and get some reaction from you guys all around the world, please feel free to answer um, um, in the comment section. We're going to post this video in many places. Hopefully you will pass it around, and really get a true conversation going, a respectful conversation going. We're happy to do that. But the other thing is, I want to give a message actually to the young lady who saw fit to actually come and in a way participate in People of Peace session. Um, I I want to let you know that sometimes it's okay for us to step into something that we fear, um, and it's not easy. And sometimes you use vocabulary that you know to make you feel more comfortable in a space that is unfamiliar to you. But you are welcome to come back to the People of Peace program in future sessions. Of course, you're going to be expected to be respectful. Um, Things like peace starts in the hearts and minds of men. Same thing as war, right? So hopefully through the course of the program and just by getting to know us, and it doesn't even have to be through us, there's plenty of people doing peace work all around the world, that you can feel comfortable with, people that look like me, people that do not look like me. But I encourage you to stay on that path and stay curious, to do that. So that's my message to that person. For the rest of you, I want to encourage you activists specifically who are dealing with racism to be encouraged, to hang in there. It can be tough. It's a hurtful thing. It's a frustrating thing. It can make you angry, but take that energy, flip it inside out, and do all that you can to let the energy that comes out of you be 10 times, 1,000 times different and on a higher level than the energy that came to you. And I promise you that what goes around comes around, and that energy that you let out will come back to you twofold. So thank you for listening, and send us your comments.